Yeah! There he is.
Here he is. You can tell by the noise. Drew McIntyre is in the house.
Drew. He'll be the champion of Europe and the champion of the world come tomorrow night. Woo!
So, nice to be home, isn't it?
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I get back on Tuesday, and first order of business is get myself some Ribena was the first thing I think I got my hands on. I had to source out some Iron Brew. I wanted to get to a Witherspoon and hear some banter where people actually get my jokes and find my humour funny, because Americans don't find our sense of humour very funny. So it's good to get back home to the UK, and amazing to walk into Cardiff and see my stupid face everywhere. Like that mural, have you seen it? It's absolutely unbelievable, the detail. I love that Roman's face, half of it's caved in. It's almost like an omen for Saturday when my big right foot connects with his face. So it's predicting the future.
By the way, I only understood like 40% of what you just said when you said you came home, but it sounds like a wonderful time that you've had so far.
Yeah, this has taken me 15 years to speak this well. You know how hard it is for Scottish people to be understood, or people from the UK in general. We go to Spain, we go to Greece, it's just what, like stone cold. I've heard it forever. Vince made me take elocution lessons when I was 24. Scotland give me grief. Every time I'm on the social media, all I see is, why are you talking like that, mate? Why are you not talking like this anymore? That's why. Yeah. No one understands us.
I love. By the way, what about that promo? Like, to see your wife. That was your actual wife in the promo.
Yeah, that was
right?
my real life wife.
Tremendous actress.
Yeah, and actually, a certain somebody that's out with an injury right now, he'll be back soon enough and make another big impact. I won't say his name, but he has a tattoo that everyone likes to talk about. He sent me a message, and he was like, that's not your wife. Don't believe it. That was an actress. I was like, no, it was my real wife. She did an incredible job. BT did such an incredible job. You know, the promo packages are so outside the box. We did the one for WrestleMania a couple of years ago with Brock, and this one's a little more special because it had my family on there as well. My real life family wasn't a bunch of actors and actresses, and the wife's hiding in the back right now. She doesn't like being on camera, but she did get on the video, and she did a tremendous job. So, love you. Thanks, wife.
You've said you've seen your face all over the streets there and that mural itself. Do you feel like a weight of expectation headlining that event tomorrow night?
No. I feel very confident in my ability and Roman's ability and the build for the match and the expectations, and I know we can meet them. I'm just happy it's happening. I've been talking about this event, a UK stadium show, since I was 22. I got signed to WWE, came to America, I was in talent relations. John Laurinaitis was head at the time, and I said to him, why have we not done a show since SummerSlam 92? Oh, okay, logistics, time difference. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. And the years would pass, I would ask again, why wouldn't we do a show in the UK? It's just like the passionate fan base. Imagine so many of us in one building. It would be so loud, it would be amazing visual, it would be great for the market, great business. No, same excuses, logistics, time difference. And then we got the network. In 2018, we did a show in Australia, and I told them, wait a minute. Australia's like the biggest time difference possible. What excuses have you got for me now? We got the network, we're doing these super shows. Oh, you never know, Drew. And when I became WWE champion, if you saw my interviews, especially, sitting at home, I was on everything, and all I talked about was getting the show. And our amazing staff backstage were pushing, making things happen, working with the Welsh government, who had some big plans. It was a perfect partnership. It's happening. We're here today. It's happening tomorrow. And somehow I'm in the main event, fighting for the titles. It could be my third championship for the first time in front of fans, and I can't think of anywhere better. Than back home. I learned to wrestle in England and Portsmouth. My part-time job in secondary school and uni was wrestler. My summer holidays were wrestling. Down in England with Brian Dixon, in Wales with Orig Williams. It's come full circle for me, and if I do the big one tomorrow, it's going to be more than a special moment for me.
Wow. Incredible. I know you're a longtime fan of the business, of the sport, of the industry. Do you remember SummerSlam?
You can say wrestling now.
I know, right? You can say wrestling. Wow, it's amazing. Do you remember SummerSlam 92? The last big stadium show here in the UK 30 years ago, just a few days ago was the anniversary. You're Davey Boy Smith. You're a British Bulldog. And for all of us, he is an absolute legend, maybe the greatest of all time for now in terms of European wrestling, in terms of British wrestling. To now be in that spot, Is that kind of surreal?
It's beyond surreal. This isn't a dream come true because this wasn't something to dream about. It didn't exist. I dreamed about main eventing WrestleMania and winning the title, and I did that. The idea of main eventing the first UK stadium show in 30 years wasn't in my mind because we didn't have it on the regular. But SummerSlam 92, my brother and I had it in VHS. My uncle taped it for us. I was about 7 at the time. He was about 6. And I remember we watched that thing over and over. If I think really hard, I can probably remember the adverts of the time. But I saw, Roddy Piper playing the bagpipes on there. It was like fighting Santa Claus in the Tooth Fairy when I found out he wasn't Scottish. But then the British Bulldog out there with the Union Jack, a big Bret Hart fan, so I was pretty split on that. But I saw those two in particular on there, and I told myself, if they can do it, I can do it too. So it was a big inspiration to me, and I hope a lot of the younger generation will see this big show and say, wow, if Drew can do it, look, it's a champion right there of the world, then I can do it too.
Amazing.
Does this feel bigger than WrestleMania? Does this feel like bigger than a WrestleMania has ever felt because of the journey that you've had making this happen? I think everyone in here knows that this wouldn't have happened if you hadn't been campaigning for it, particularly through that title run. It was the first thing you said in the interview after the title. You said, we have to get this here. Does this feel bigger than a WrestleMania moment ever could for you now?
For me personally, yeah, it does. And, in the future, this is a blueprint. The next one, we're going to have the week-long event. We'll have the accesses, etc. But it feels like a WrestleMania. The superstars are amazed when they arrived and they're looking around the streets and seeing all the imagery. A few of them have seen the setup in the stadium and they're absolutely blown away. And for me personally, when everybody gets to witness the event itself, I've tried to explain to people, but they can't comprehend. And I try and give them a comparison. I'm like, check out a European soccer match, football, and watch the crowd, watch how mental they are, watch the chants they're doing, and just watch some of the, old Raws and SmackDowns from the UK, how passionate the fans are, and imagine 70,000 of us in the same place, aside the spectacle of it, aside the amazing setup in the Principality and the low roof and the physicality in the ring, just watch the crowd. It'll be like ECW One Night Stand, except the Hammerstein's bloody tiny. This is huge, and people are going to remember it not just for what happened on the show, but what the crowd were up to during it. I'm singing songs like perhaps Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns is terrified, and na 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 na. Hey Drew, not to encourage you, but those are a few of my favourites in the past.
All right, we'll sing some of them when we're off air later. I think we'll test them out, shall we? Obviously, you've got your enormous match. You'll talk about that at length in every interview you do for the next rest of your life, probably. Sheamus, I know sometimes you're beating each other up quite severely. But you must be
quite severely.
Quite severely.
I've not had worse bar fights and pub fights than we do. The things we do to each other in the ring. The only thing that surpassed what Sheamus and I do to each other in the ring was what the Usos did to me with the chairs last week. I've never been beaten like that in my entire life.
How was your back, by the way?
Awful.
Okay. I was worried about the flight over here with that back. I mean, that must have been very uncomfortable.
It was incredibly uncomfortable. Luckily, we have a SmackDown tonight, and perhaps I will take. Not my private jet, Roman's private jet, fly over to America so we can do that SmackDown live.
Oh, wow.
And maybe I'll figure out a way to take care of that bloodline, because one-on-one, I've got Roman's number.
All right.
But to see Sheamus have that, opportunity tomorrow night, you know that that's the one he's been after for years now, that IC title. How proud are you how proud are you going to be if he's not beating you up? That is, are you going to be to see him out there having another amazing match tomorrow night?
Yeah, he's worked hard for this, has dreamt about it, has talked about it. He's won everything there is to win in WWE, and the IC title is the one he wants. And I was getting concerned for him because he's about 63 years old now, and it's the only reason he's still going, so he can get the IC title. So I'm glad the match is happening. It's against Gunther, what's he called now?
Yeah.
Gunther. And he's in the shape of his life. He's an incredible athlete. He's so hard hitting. Like, Sheamus isn't going to let up on anybody, but Gunther can bring it back, and it's a match I'm looking forward to watching myself. And it's interesting, the journey and I and Sheamus have been on, obviously, we're friends before we get signed together. But the big thing is, the night I won the Intercontinental title in 2009, he won the world title. And then fast forward to 2022, things have kind of switched. Now I'm the one chasing the heavyweight titles, and he's fighting for the Intercontinental title. So our journey has been very interesting throughout these years.
Now, a lot of people, by the way, Rob, have asked me all week, who do you think is going to win, who do you think is going to win? And I'm always picking you. And yes, I say that. And by the way, I'm going to have more to say on that in a moment. However, I must admit, yesterday at around this time, first time gave me pause. I was a little worried for you, and I started to rethink. Do you know why? I'm on the internet, I'm scrolling through Twitter, and I see a video pop up of that big dosser Tyson Fury saying he's going to be in attendance. And now I'm worried, given your history.
Battle at the castle.
Yeah. Like, how many lines did he have to say? I mean, battle at the castle, I think he messed up something else, but at least he's going to be there.
Yeah, at least he's going to be there. I mean, a couple blows to the head will do that to you. Here's the thing. Now I'm worried, because I remember when you guys were going back and forth, I'm worried he's going to try to mess with you.
Right. Tyson and I have been going back and forth a few years now, and I remember initially it started with his playful banter, and he's an entertainer, he's good with his mouth, but he did, in my mind, what he thought was his version of a pro wrestling promo. And I was like, I'm going to have to hit him where it hurts just so he gets into this. So I took a stiff blow back to him, and I know a couple of people that are friends with him, so I knew where to hit. And then I saw the intensity, then he started getting real with it, and then it was a really fun back and forth, and I got to the point where I was like, I wonder if he's actually upset with me.
Yeah.
I don't care. I want to make something happen. That'd be good for business because I need him to feel it. I need him to be in the moment. And I was doing a show in the Thunderdome. I was champion. And I went out for my entrance. I just spotted him in the crowd. There was no crowd. I mean, he was by himself under the hard cam with his family. And I went, there's Tyson right there. He didn't even find me before the match. I'll see him after the match. Got back. Where's Fury? He's left already. I think Fury's scared of Drew McIntyre. He's literally ducking me now. So he's showing up at the show tomorrow. All I have to say is I've not jumped into his boxing matches with a chair and tried to beat him up. So stay out of my match. Wait till it's over. Wait till I raise those titles. Have the biggest explosion of noise in the history of planet Earth. Have that moment, and then step in the ring if you want, and then I'll get you in your back, and you'll be like a turtle. As long as you can't throw those punches, you're done for.
Didn't he once go to Edinburgh to try and find you?
Yeah, and he knew fine well I'm working in America. So it's blows to the head.
Drew, tomorrow night, what can people expect from this match? The hype has been huge, and it's built, and it's built, and it's built, and I think everyone's seen you waiting for this opportunity, and everyone knows you are always going to get an opportunity at this Roman Reigns title shot. Tomorrow night, what can people expect?
You can expect a show you're not going to forget overall. This match, the atmosphere, I can't even imagine. It's going to be electric, and I'm under no illusions that Roman's very, very popular. It's interesting. He was a good guy and got booed for 10 years. But then he turned bad and gets cheered. But now he's been the real version of himself, and he's been doing some incredible work. I've been working hard, showing people the real me. The Sword got a bit much face time, to be honest, over the past year or so. But thankfully, the man has came in front of the Sword the past month or so. We've reestablished who McIntyre is. The momentum's been building. It's in the UK, not some made-up fictional island of relevancy. It's on my actual island. And Roman's so good in the ring, the story's so good, the momentum's so good. We're not going to have to touch, the people are going to be there, but we're such perfectionists, masters of our crafts, and look at everything down to the fine detail. We're going to make sure the match delivers, and in the end, to steal one from old buddy Wade Barrett, who I like to rip on as well, the winds of change are blowing through WWE right now, and it all starts at the top and rolls downhill. What's the company going to look like going forward into the future at the top level? Roman's taking a step back. He's not going to be there all the time. If he's got the titles, doesn't have the titles, he's still a huge star. I believe the title should be represented on every show. I believe they should be on the appearances. I believe they should be here right now if I'm the champion. And they're not being represented that we should be right now. And to be honest, they should be defended every 30 days. Jack Tunney's rolling over in his grave. They're not defended every 30 days.
Tunney.
So I'm going to fix that. And the real change starts at the top with Drew McIntyre, undisputed champion.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And if I may, Drew, do we have to wrap up with Drew in a moment here? Because I'd like to say something to Drew. The first time I ever spoke to Drew, can I stand up? Is that okay?
You stand up.
Thank you. The first time I met Drew McIntyre was via Zoom at the very beginning of the pandemic. You remember this? It was the day after WrestleMania, April of 2020. This man was robbed of his moment. He had to win the belt against the great Brock Lesnar in front of no one. That should have been in front of 75,000 people in Tampa, and you were robbed. And that was the culmination of an unbelievable story and an unbelievable main event that should have been one of the great WrestleMania moments of all time. This man watched that moment in his living room. Tape delay WrestleMania, never before, and praise to the God above, never again. We never want that again. He was robbed of that moment. 2 years later, he is getting to right that wrong in front of his people. And you just mentioned ECW One Night Stand. I'll never forget that banner. That banner at the Hammerstein Ballroom in the heart of New York City. What was it that it said? If Cena wins, we riot. Well, if God is my witness, if this man doesn't win tomorrow, we freaking riot. Because he deserves that moment. He deserves to have his moment back from April 2020. He deserves to be the undisputed champion of World Wrestling Entertainment. My man, Drew McIntyre.
Well. Unreal.
Thank you. Those words mean a lot to me. And I'm actually worried now because Americans say if Cena wins, we riot. We're from the UK. If Roman wins, there's going to be a legit riot.
Well, I think on that note, it's time to wrap up the show. Thanks as always go to Errol Hawani. And a massive thank you and good luck to the man, Drew McIntyre. He'll be there. 70,000 people clash at the castle in the main event against Roman Reigns. And as you can tell, this is just a room full of 100-odd people. Imagine what it's going to sound like tomorrow night. You, of course, can watch that on BT Sport 2 at 6 p.m. And the only thing that's left is for everyone here and everyone in that stadium to show the world how loud a UK crowd can be. Enjoy it.